It's Miss C. Hi. Miss you guys so much. Welcome to my very first video that is going to be uploaded to YouTube. I am planning to, hoping to, fingers crossed, upload 2 to 3 videos. There's a horrible glare on these. 2 to 3 videos a week. I tried to start uploading videos yesterday and it did not go well. It was super slow loading them. So my hope is to try to upload 2 to 3 a week, but if that doesn't work out, maybe just 1, or it may be more. I'm really gonna try my hardest to keep these videos under 10 minutes, so maybe that'll help speed it up and get it to upload faster. But anyway, the purpose of today's video is to talk about a couple of things that are important before you guys start your week of learning. Your first week of distance learning is what I'm calling it, because we're still learning together, but we're learning at a distance. We're not in the same classroom. So distance learning, week 1. And so I want to talk about the 2 big projects or assignments that I have put on Google Docs for you guys. I know you guys probably have some questions, so I want to make sure that I go through that and talk about it a little bit just to make sure you have the gist of it. I will be making some separate videos to go through, and I will be creating the projects myself so that you can see what I'm talking about and it all makes sense to you. I want to talk about also my availability as far as if you do have questions. I want you to know that I am available every day. I'm going to have what I'm calling office hours. Well, not what I'm calling, but what the school's calling my office hours. And so that'll be Mondays from 9 to 9:55. And then I take a little break because I have another meeting during the next hour, and then from 11 to 12 again. So that's just on Mondays, but then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I will be available from 10 to 12, a solid 2-hour chunk of time on what's called Google Meet. So some of you might be familiar with Google Meet, some of you may not be. I hadn't heard of it before all of this went down, and we had a meeting the other day using it, and I thought it would be really cool to use that as a way to communicate with you guys. It's almost like Skype or FaceTime, where we'll all be able to see each other, which I'm excited about because I can't wait to see you guys. But not everyone will be able to join, obviously. I understand that, but if that is something that you're able to do, I would love to see you there. During that time, I'll answer any questions, just kind of hang out there and be available. So if you guys need me for anything, that's where I'll be. Obviously, you can always also email me if you have questions. I'm available, okay? So before I get started with the projects and the assignments that I just mentioned, I was on Google Classroom just a second ago, and Landon asked me a question. Hello, Landon. Shout out to Landon. He asked me a question about AR. So I wanted to talk about this. He asked me something along the lines of like, hey, Missy, how are we going to get our AR goals or test for AR if we aren't in the classroom? The answer is you're not. So AR is, for the most part, it's strictly an at-school program. So you guys wouldn't be able to test at home. And the reason for that is because then it would be easy for anyone to take a test for anyone else. You know what I mean? So it's a strictly at-school program. Therefore, during this quarter, at least up until hopefully if this all gets figured out, until then, we're going to just put a timeout on AR, and when and if hopefully we get back in the classroom, then we'll pick right back up, and your goals won't be crazy. Like, let's say we get back in the classroom and there's only 4 weeks left of school. I'm not going to give you these massive goals to work on with only 4 weeks to go. They will mirror what the amount of time we have left is. Okay, so don't worry about AR right now. Do worry about reading though. I have 2 projects for you, and I'm going to start, actually no, I'm going to start with the writing one first, okay? So for the writing project, or for the writing assignment, I should say, on Google Docs, it talks about a writing journal. So super simple. Writing journal, weekly journal, it's going to be just that. It's going to be, think of it almost like Feather Circle, but as a journal. It can, let me backtrack. You can do this many ways. You guys are going to learn quickly that I am not the best at videos. I've never uploaded a video to anywhere. These won't be fancy. There won't be editing. There's not going to be music or cool effects. This is it. This is what you get, you guys. So, anyway, what was I saying? Weekly journals. So these journals, as long as you guys are writing, I'm not going to be very like super specific about how you do this. I have some expectations, but I'm very flexible with them. And so let me start there. Your weekly journal is going to consist of a daily entry, must be 7 to 10 sentences, making sure you use correct grammar, spelling, punctuation. I better not see any sentences that don't start with a capital letter and are missing periods. Do not. Again, think of these almost like feather circles. So it can be like a literal journal, like Dear Diary, today I. It can be like that. Or where you talk about your feelings and thoughts, right? Or it can be either a real or made up narrative. So just like feather circle, it can be a story like the story I told about the time, let's see, what's a feather circle I've written? I wrote about the one where I cut my lip when I was a little girl, right? So it can be a true story about my life like that, a real narrative, or it can be a made-up narrative, like the ones you guys write, like the chicken wing superhero, remember, like that kind of thing. So it can be like that, as long as it's 7 to 10 sentences every day. And then the way you submit them is like this. So either you can do it through Google Doc. You won't be turning them into me every single day. You're going to write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then send me the Google Doc of your entries. And what I want you to do is pick one that you want me to read. I'm going to look at all of them, but I want you to pick one that you want me to read. And what you can do is if you highlight the whole thing and then change the color of the font to like red, so every other one is black, but then that one is red, I'll know that that's the one you want me to read, okay? And then that's the ones that I'll look at. Just like we do with our class meetings, I'm going to be picking some really cool ones to share with you guys during that Google Meet time. So kind of like when we do the Red Hot Chili Peppers, make sure that you have, that you're doing your very best, using descriptive words and details, because I'm going to pick some all-stars to share with everyone, okay? So that's that. Pretty simple. You're turning it into me every Friday. Oh, if you can't do it on Google Doc, you can always just write it out and take a picture of it. Almost like how when we did spelling, how you guys would do your projects and it wasn't something you turned in physically to me. It was a picture that you took of your assignment. Okay, you can do that as well. Just be sure that if that's what you're doing, that the picture is nice and clear and that no parts that are important are cut off. Okay, so that's it. The journal is simple. I'm at 8 minutes almost, so I'm going to try to hurry this up. The next part, I'm not going to go into super deep detail because I want to do a whole separate video showing you guys the process of what I'm about to talk about, okay? So I'm going to run through this quickly. Basically, your second project that you're going to be working on, not second because the first one is just a journal, this is an actual project, is going to be a book report. So the first part of this project is going to be the same for both options because you're going to have two options. You can do this two different ways. But the thing that both of these projects have in common is how you start. And you start like this. You're going to pick a brand new chapter book that you've never read and start reading. I'm requiring you to read one chapter a day. And then I need you to, just like with your reading logs, you're writing a 5-sentence summary of each chapter every day. And same thing, you're going to keep those on one single piece of paper and turn them all into me on Friday, however way you want to. And then, so every week you should be reading 5 chapters, should have 5 summaries from you. And if you don't have books available to you at home, some of you have a ton of books, some of you don't have a lot of books, that's okay. I, in Google Classroom, put in the link for Epic and the code. So you guys can pick a book from there too, okay? So you'll pick your book, you read your chapters every night, and then when you finish the whole book, and I'm hoping like, and I'll talk to you guys about this a little bit, so I have some recommendations for you. We're going to put a timeout on Thunder Rolling in the Mountain, down the mountain, just kidding, in the mountain. I want to time out that book because I would like to be the one to finish it with you guys. Just because there's a lot of conversation that needs to happen as you go through that book. It's not a book that you can just front to back finish quickly and not really process and think about. It's a heavy book. You guys remember, there's a lot to it. So it's not a book that I want you guys to just rush through and finish on your own. If you bought it or your parents ordered it and you did finish it, cool. I'm proud of you. But if you haven't, don't worry about it right now. Let's put that on hold. Okay. I am going to give you guys some book recommendations. One book that I'm recommending for you guys is this book. It's called Walk Two Moons. It's by Sharon Creech. This is the same person who wrote Love That Dog. So if you've ever read that book, this is the same person. This book, for example, has 44 chapters. If anyone knows how to make this video so that my stuff isn't backwards, let me know, okay? So 44 chapters, that means that you would be reading 5 chapters a day, or not 5 chapters a day, 1 chapter a day, 5 days, turn in your summary. So this book would take you a while to read. But the chapters are pretty short, not too long. So something like this would be a book that I would recommend, but not requiring at all. Just a recommendation I have for you. For my gifted and advanced kiddos that I usually group together to do the lit studies, and any of you who are up for the challenge, just make sure that if this book isn't at your level, like drop it down to a book that is, okay? Because I don't want you reading an entire book of stuff you don't understand. But if you're up for the challenge and you're understanding it, do it, okay? The Phantom Tollbooth. This is a really, really great book, specifically because it has a lot of figurative language in it. And so if any of you are able to get this book, order it on Kindle. If maybe they have it on Epic, I haven't checked, but if you're able to get this book, this is a good one. This one has 20 chapters, but the chapters in this one are a little bit longer, and on top of that, there are illustrations in this book, and they're actually really cool illustrations. For example, see if you guys can see it. It's a person, really old, grumpy looking man, writing with a quill. That looks like me yesterday. Just kidding. I was working all day yesterday. That would be a reason why this book looks longer than it is, because there's quite a few illustrations throughout the book. Okay, so anywho, 2 recommendations. Don't have to get them if you can't or you don't want to. You can read anything else that you haven't read before, okay? Then what do? We're at 12 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this to 15 now. After you've read your book, you have completely finished your novel, you are going to pick one of 2 projects, okay? The first one is a cereal box book report. Basically, in a nutshell, like I said, I'm going to explain this in its entirety, but in a different video in the next few days. But in a nutshell, you will be creating a book out of this box. You'll be wrapping it in paper. You're going to make a spine for it, a cover for it, and then on the back, you're going to have some important things that I'm going to want you to add. So start eating cereal. Make sure you're keeping your boxes. And on that note, make sure you guys are keeping as many materials as you can that you find around the house. Like being cooped up, you guys are going to start to collect recyclables for sure. So if I were you, I would maybe keep a little box in my room. Make sure that the stuff doesn't have food in it so you don't get bugs in your room and then you guys blame me. Awkward. Make sure you guys are keeping clean, reusable items, because you never know when they're going to come in handy. For example, I know right now toilet paper is such a thing. I've been keeping my toilet paper rolls because these, I'll talk about in just a second, will help for the next project. That is your option, okay? But anything you find that you think you could use for a STEM type project, hang on to it, because you probably will be able to use it soon. Here's another example. This is my toothpaste box. I just got a new toothpaste and I kept the box, and I'm just trying to keep all these materials because I'm going to be doing a lot of STEM type things along with our lessons that we'll be reviewing during this time, okay? So that was the book report. That's the cereal box one. Your other option for a book report is going to be a mobile. So you know those things that hang above baby's cribs? It has like little dangling, hopefully this isn't what hangs around a baby's crib that you know. But you know those things that hang over baby's cribs and there's like little toys hanging from them? So you're going to be making a book report that mirrors that. You're going to be using a hanger And then from here, you will be hanging using string or yarn, again, whatever you have available. Be creative. Obviously, don't go out and buy things if you're not, I don't want you guys like out shopping for things if you don't need, if they're like, don't shop for things, okay? Find what you have around the house. I have this type of string. It's the one that usually comes in a long little like bunch like that. I accidentally pulled it out. But anyway, something like this, yarn would work. So this would then have the strings hanging down. From those strings will be hanging the toilet paper rolls. On the toilet paper rolls will be either index cards or paper that go through different components of the book that I'm going to ask you to go into detail about or analyze, okay? If you don't have toilet paper rolls, that's why I said make sure you're hanging on to contain. Like this, I could tape the top part down so it's nice and flat, and then I could cut this in half and have two separate little things that could hang on my mobile. I'm not sure how to say that, I'll be honest, because I've heard people say it both ways. I should have looked that up. Anyway, that's what good readers do. So save your materials, use them as best you can. I'm not going to be a stickler about like making sure you use specific materials. Be creative, find what you have at home and use it. Anyway, those are the 2 assignments that I posted on Google Classroom. The book report is something that's going to take you guys a few weeks, okay? It's not going to be something that you finish in a couple of days. The writing journal is something that should be done daily. The book report is something that should be worked on daily, but in the beginning should just be the reading and the 5-sentence summaries for each chapter, okay? The project part you don't start until you're done with the book, okay? All right, guys, well, that's 16, almost 17 minutes. I tried to keep it short. It'll get better and faster and smoother, I'm sure, as we go along. I love you guys so much. I miss you so much. I hope all of you are doing well. It sounds like it. I've been in touch with your parents pretty often throughout all of this, and it sounds like for the most part, everyone's doing really well. I'm doing very well. My family's doing very well. So keep taking care of yourselves. I will do the same. I'm excited to get back into learning with you guys. And if you have any questions, email me or Google Classroom, comment me, or join my Google Meet every day during the hours I talked about. All of that information has been sent out to your parents, and then that link, all the links, most of the links, the important links will be on Google Classroom. If anything is unclear, reach out to me, okay? All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I will talk to you very soon.